calling this meeting to order at 6:58, and the date is Monday, November the 23rd, and this is the regular meeting of the Municipal Council for the Township of Edwardsburg Cardinal for the month of November, the date being November the 23rd, which I think I already said. And so I'm just going to down the agenda here. The next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Deputy Mayor Deschamps.
Yeah, there's no changes, I assume?
I don't think so, no.
So, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that Municipal Council approves the agenda as presented.
Thank you very much. Those in favor? Aye. Motion is carried, and just so you know, the meeting is going to be crisp tonight. Item number 3 is disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof.
None by me.
There are any disclosures here this evening?
None.
And I am going to declare a pecuniary interest with item number 8B, which is the question of the Cogeco funding. Apologies to the clerk, I forgot to fill out the sheet ahead of the meeting. I'll fill it out when I leave the chair here. Ask the deputy mayor to take over that discussion on that particular item 8B. I'm at item number 4 on the agenda, which is delegations and presentations. We have none this evening. And so I turn to item number 5, which is the approval of minutes of previous council meetings. Councillor Hunter.
Myself, second by Deputy Mayor Deschamps, Municipal Council receives and approves the minutes of the regular meeting dated October 26, 2020.
Sir?
Thank you very much. Are there any errors or omissions? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you. And Councillor Dillabaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Cameron, that the Municipality Council receives and approves the minutes of a special meeting dated November 9th, 2020.
Thank you very much. Are there any errors or omissions? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you. And I'm turning now to item number 6 on the agenda, which is business arising from either of those two meetings. Does anyone have any business arising? Hearing none. I am about to move on with item number 7, which is the approval of various committee minutes that took place over the month. So the first is 7A, Councillor Cameron.
Yes, thank you. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Hunter that Municipal Council receives the minutes of the Public Library Board meeting dated September 22nd, 2020.
Thank you very much. Now, is there any discussion with regard to these minutes? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you. And 7B, the Port Management Committee, Councillor Dillabaugh.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Cameron, that the Municipality Council receives the minutes of the Port Management Committee meeting dated October 21st, 2020.
Thank you very much. Any discussion on these minutes? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Community Development Committee, Deputy Mayor Deschamps.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that the Municipal Council receives and approves the minutes of the Community Development Committee meeting dated November 2nd, 2020.
Thank you very much. Discussion, if any? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And then item number 7D, which is a public meeting concerning the building permit fees. Councillor Cameron.
Yes, and once again, thank you. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Hunter that Municipal Council receives the minutes of the public meeting building permit fee schedule dated November 9th, 2020.
Thank you very much. Discussion, questions? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Item number 7E, Committee of the Whole, Administration and Finance, Councillor Hunter.
Myself, second by Deputy Mayor Deschamps, the Municipal Council receives and approves the minutes of the Committee of the Whole Administrative and Finance meeting dated November 9th, 2020.
Questions, discussion, if any? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And 7F, the public meeting for 2140 Dundas. Councillor Cameron.
Yes, once again, thank you. It's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Hunter, that municipal council receives the minutes of the public meeting, 2140 Dundas Street, African Bronze Honey, dated November 16th, 2020.
Thank you very much. Questions, if any? Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And the public meeting for 1026 County Road 2, Councillor Dillabaugh.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Cameron, that Municipality Council receives the minutes of the public meeting at 1026 County Road 2, Holmes, dated November 16th, 2020.
Discussion, if any? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And so now I'm at item 8, which is the action items coming forward from those various
Yes,
minutes.
7H, Mr. Mayor.
7H.
Yes.
Oh yes, you're right, I missed it. My apologies. Councillor Cameron.
Yes, thank you. It's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Hunter, that municipal council receives and approves the minutes of the Committee of the Whole, Public Works, Environmental Services, and Facilities meeting dated November 16th, 2020.
Thank you very much. Discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Now I'm on item 8. Item 8A, Councillor Dillabaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Cameron, that Municipality Council selects the Cardinal Waterfront Development Phase 2 as the project, directs staff to submit the application under the ICIP COVID-19 Resilience Infrastructure Stream prior to December 21st, 2020.
Now, discussion if any?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got it. Discussion if any? Hearing none. Vote to move ahead. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And so now I'm on
This is
8B. This is where I declare the conflict complete.
All right, so 8B. How do you want me to go about this? Heck, I'm a little caught. So we're looking at the recommendation that is provided. The recommendation that is provided is that municipal council provide a letter to Cogeco committing financial support to an upset limit of $31,000, subject to written confirmation that the specific project is approved by ICON under the Intake 1 application and entering into a funding agreement with the township outlining terms and conditions of payment using modernization funding. Is there a mover and a seconder for the recommendation? You've got it? Can I be the seconder? As chair? That's okay?
If through the chair, usually the chair doesn't move or second a motion, but in these cases when we only have 4 members available, we can make exceptions.
And myself, second by Deputy Mayor Disha, the municipal council provide a letter to Cogeco committing financial support to an upset limit of $31,000, subject to written confirmation that the specific project is approved by ICON under the Intake 1 application and entered into a funding agreement with the township outlining terms and conditions of payment using modernization funding.
All right, so a little different than how the discussion went. So does anyone have any input on the recommendation as it is?
Good.
Councilor Cameron?
No.
Joe?
I think we're going the right direction. I think
Yep.
some of the information that the staff put forward, that we use this and we discuss setting this as a priority for the whole township, that we're talking $100 per resident, and we make this, for approach from other places, we use the same format to help
Improving our
establish
township.
a group, township.
Okay, personally, I see it as a bit of a stretch to use modernization dollars to pay Cogeco to provide high-speed internet to individual homes. I have a hard time with that. I'm not really sure that was ever what the intention of the modernization dollars were. And I also struggle that, you know, the recommendation comes back isn't one of the three options that we certainly sent back to, you know, to be determined. So, however, we have a mover. I seconded it. I'm going to call for a recorded vote.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Yes?
By approving this tonight, does this, or will this impact further down the road? For instance, the reason I'm asking that, it's based on per household, and it appears that the village of Cardinal, for instance, will never have Cogeco in its boundaries. Now, I don't mind the formula used as $100 per household, providing that we have the money, such as the modernization fund, to cover it. Is this going to impact somewhere further down the road where that same formula would apply?
So through the chair, there is certainly risk within this action item. It kind of spelled out that it wasn't specific to Cogeco. It could be any service provider.
Yes.
And to the chair's point, yes, it's not one of the three options, and it appeared like there was not a will with respect to the 31,000 coming from general taxation. The research would indicate that a special benefit levy style is not within the municipal act realm. A letter of support, we already provided a letter of support with respect to this project, and it's really now about financial support. So it was an option.
Thank you.
And I will certainly concur with the chair. It is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, so, but going back to Mr. Hennessy's presentation, he indicated that even if we chose not to fund the 31,000, that, you know, the continued letter of support as they went on would be suffice. So
That's correct.
I struggle with the use of modernization funds for this project. I would have much preferred myself to see just a letter of support with no financial contribution. Mover, seconder, I do have to call the question. I'm gonna record the vote if there are no other comments. No?
None here.
Okay, so Councillor Cameron,
That would be yay.
Councillor Dillabaugh,
Yay.
Councillor Hunter,
Yay.
and myself is nay. And then what do I put for mayor?
Conflict declared.
Passes 3-1, and I sign. Do I scratch mayor and put deputy mayor?
Yep.
Just do D.
Oh, yeah, right. Here you go, sir.
So thank you very much, Deputy Mayor, for getting us through that one. And now I'm on 8C on the agenda, which is the health and safety policy update. Councillor Hunt.
Move myself, second by Deputy Mayor Deschamps, that municipal council approves the changes to the health and safety policy and proceeds and direct staff to finalize the update and distribute the revised version to all municipal departments as recommended by the Committee of the Whole, Public Works, Environmental Services and Facilities.
Okay, very good. The motion's on the floor. Discussion, if any. So, very first question that I want to ask is, I had raised an issue at the committee meeting about their idea that we're appointing an employee, we're appointing a person to our Health and Safety Committee who is not one of our employees. So I had asked that the propriety of that kind of an action be examined. Did we get any kind of a legal interpretation of that issue?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I did speak with John McGue from Prevention and Regulatory Solutions with respect to that, and he confirmed that with respect to, it is workers within a workplace, not necessarily a direct employee. So within that, a worker in one of our workplaces could be appointed to our joint Health and Safety Committee.
It's not our workplace.
That is our building where we do perform work on occasion, so.
It's a stretch. It's not our workplace.
We own the building, so we're liable for anything that happens in it, so.
I'm gonna call for recorded vote on this one. Did I hear other comments? Did I hear the treasurer getting in here? No? Okay, I'm gonna call for recorded vote. Chris by there. And so Councillor Hunter, Councillor Cameron, how do you vote?
I would, in favor, that would be yea.
Councillor Dillabaugh?
Yay.
Councillor Hunter?
Yay.
Deputy Mayor?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna vote nay. The motion is still carried, and we'll move on. And so I'm at item number 8B, which is the Blue Box Transition Plan. Deputy Mayor Deschamps.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that municipal council direct staff to enter into negotiations with Waste Connections to extend the current household waste and recycled materials contract for another 3 years, as recommended by the Committee of the Whole, Public Works, Environmental Services, and Facilities.
And thank you very much. Discussion, if any? Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And item number 8E, the low lift budget, Councillor Cameron.
Yes, thank you. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Hunter that municipal council approve the 2021 raw water supply system, LLPS, budget as recommended by the Committee of the Whole, Public Works, Environmental Services, and Facilities.
Thank you very much. Discussion, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And I'm moving to item number F, speed on County Road 21, Spencerville West, Councillor Hunter.
Move myself, second by Deputy Mayor Disher. Whereas the municipal council has received concerns respecting the reduced posted speed limit along County Road 21 west of Spencerville to Clary Road being reduced from 80 kilometers to 50 kilometers. And whereas the municipal council deems that the posted speed along County Road 21 west of Spencerville to Beverly Street should remain at the reduced posted speed limit of 50 kilometers an hour. And whereas the municipal council deems that the reduced speed limit along County Road 21 between Beverly Street and Clary Road should be increased back to 80 kilometers per hour. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Edgeworth will request the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville to consider increasing the speed limit along County Road 21 between Beverly Street and Clary Road back to 80 kilometers.
Thank you very much. Discussion, if any, those in favor?
I like to,
Okay, go ahead.
no, I'd just like to record a vote on that, please.
Oh, okay. Recorded vote requested by Councillor Dillabaugh. Councillor Cameron, how do you vote?
Yea.
Councillor Dillabaugh, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councillor Hunter, how do you vote?
Yay.
Deputy Mayor Deschamps?
Yay.
And Mayor votes yea, the motion is carried. And moving to item number 8G, Emergency Management Plan Update, Deputy Mayor Deschamps.
That is me. That, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that municipal council receives the updates to the 2020 Emergency Management Plan.
discussion, if any? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And item 8H, road closure request, Councillor Hunter.
And myself, second by Deputy Mayor Disha, that the municipal council endorse the temporary road closure of Spencer Street between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m. on December 5th, 2020, subject to meeting the satisfaction and approval of the counties.
Discussion, if any?
Question.
Go ahead.
Regarding the last sentence, approval of the counties, what would the time frame be on the approval process?
Well, I think the CAO will arrange that with one of the managers very quickly.
Yes, we'll be in contact shortly, if we haven't already been in contact.
Okay, thank you. I will support the recommendation.
Further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And item 8I, site plan control agreement for Winans, Councillor Dillabaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, second by Councilor Cameron. Municipality Council enters a site plan control agreement as attached with 5010792 Ontario Inc.
And discussion, if any? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And so now, these Spencerville well water reports. Councillor Hunter.
Mayor myself, second by Deputy Mayor Disha, that the municipal council receives the following Spencerville well water reports. Technical report, Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks, groundwater intake assessment, JP2G Consultant Incorporated.
And thank you very much. And just 1 second, please. Give me a minute. My paperwork in order here. And the question is on the table. Discussion, if any. Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And so now I'm at item number 9, which is receive and acknowledge the correspondence. Councillor Cameron.
Yes, thank you. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Dillabaugh that municipal council receives the correspondence listings for the following dates as previously circulated. November 2nd, 2020, November 6th, 2020, November 16th, 2020.
Thank you very much. 3 big packages. Discussion, if any. Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. I hope you gentlemen are keeping track of your correspondence. I haven't been able to bring anything forward, but I know that there are several things that catch my eye from time to time, but they seem to get lost in the weeds. So now I'm at item number 10, which is approval of municipal disbursements. Deputy Mayor Deschamps.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that municipal council approves payment of municipal invoices circulated and dated as follows. Report dated October 23rd, 2020-112 and $750. Report dated November 5th, 2020-115, $206, $884 and 10 cents. Report dated November 11th, 2020-116, $1,121.39. Report dated November 18th, 2020-121, $21,702.13. Report dated November 19th, 2020-123, $135,952.69. Report dated November 20th, 2020-124, $253,857.27, for a total of $620,267.58.
Thank you very much. Discussion, if any? Councillor?
I just have a question. I noticed going through the disbursements that our bills seem to be way down this year, especially in the fuel and gas commodity. Did we have, just a question, did we have something shut down or not working?
It's called COVID.
Is that what it's called? Oh, looks good.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
About to call the question. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Amazing, because we're seeing it at the county level too.
Are you?
Yeah. And so then I'm at item number 11, which is the bylaws. We have several here tonight. The first is the animal control fees. Deputy Mayor Deschamps.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to amend bylaw 2016-85, being a bylaw to regulate the keeping of animals in the township of Edwardsburg Cardinal. And this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
First and second reading, discussion if any, hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Carried unanimously. Proceed to third reading, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that a bylaw to amend bylaw 2016-85, being a bylaw to regulate the keeping of animals in the township of Edwardsburg Cardinal, be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-65.
Thank you very much. Discussion, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And moving then to bylaw number 8B, administrative rates and fees for the Commissioner of Oath, Councillor Cameron.
Yes, it's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Dillabaugh that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to establish the rates and fees for various services performed by the municipality, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
First and second reading, any discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Carried unanimously. Go ahead.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Dillabaugh, that a bylaw to establish the rates and fees for various services performed by the municipality be now read a third time, finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-66.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And moving then to 11C, Reserve and Reserve Fund Policy, Councillor Hunter.
Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Deschamps, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to adopt a reserve and reserve funds policy, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
Thank you very much. Discussion, if any? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Deschamps, that a bylaw to adopt a reserve and reserve fund policy be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-67.
Thank you very much. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried, and I think we should extend thanks to the treasurer for getting us through a laborious project, but getting it updated, and thank you very much. And so I'm turning now to bylaw number 11D, which is the investment policy. Councillor Dillabaugh.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Cameron, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to adopt the policy with respect with investment, and we shall constitute first, second reading thereof.
Discussion, if any? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead, please.
And moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Cameron, the bylaw adopt the policy with respect to investments be now read the third time, finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-68.
Discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And so I'm going now to 11E, which is to establish the terms of reference for committees of council. Deputy Mayor Deschamps.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to establish terms of reference for committees of council, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
And I think this is the one where we changed the Community Development Committee. Discussion, if any? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Go ahead, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that a bylaw to establish the terms of reference for committees of council be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-69.
Thank you very much. Discussion, hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried again. And so now I'm proceeding to item number 11F, which is an automatic aid agreement. Deputy Mayor Deschamps.
Sure. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to authorize an automatic aid agreement with the corporation of the town of Prescott for fire protection services, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried unanimously. Go ahead, please.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor John Hunter that a bylaw to authorize an automatic agreement with the corporation of the town of Prescott for fire protection services be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-7.
Thank you very much. Those in favor?
Aye.
And carried unanimously again.
One quick comment.
Yes, go ahead.
And just on the record for council, Brian, the chief is here and just said it before, I'd like to say it again when it finally passes. Excellent work on behalf of yourself, Chief Morehouse, and Matt, and the CAO.
Nice to get it done.
Yes, and my apologies to the chief. I missed the deadline last week with my mayor's column, but it'll be in this week, I'm told. But congratulations, and I think if I recall correctly, that's the last of the mutual aid agreements and automatic aid agreements to be updated. Is that correct?
I think it's been a few years for North Granville. I'm not sure there are any changes to be made, but it's in place and working well.
Okay. So thank you very much. So turning now to bylaw 11G, recreation rental rates and fees, Councillor Hunter.
Myself, second by Deputy Mayor Deschamps, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to establish the rates and fees for various services performed by the Recreation Department. This shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
Thank you very much. Discussion of any? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried unanimously. Go ahead, please.
Myself, second by Deputy Mayor Deschamps, that a bylaw to establish the rates and fees for various services performed by the Recreation Department be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-71.
Thank you very much. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you. And moving then to 11H, the zoning bylaw amendment for 1026 County Road 2, Deputy Mayor Deschamps.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw 2012-35 as amended, 1026 County Road 2-homes, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
Thank you very much. Discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor? Motion is carried unanimously. Go ahead, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw 2012-35 as amended, 1026 County Road 2, homes, be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-72.
Thank you very much. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you. And item 11I, an easement agreement with Lockwood. Councillor Hunter.
Move myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Deschamps, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to authorize an easement agreement with 1594107 Ontario Incorporated Sewer Infrastructure, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
Thank you very much. There was a briefing note that went with it. Discussion, if any? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Carried unanimously. Go ahead, please.
Move myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Deschamps, that the bylaw to authorize an easement agreement with 1594107 Ontario Incorporated Sewer Infrastructure be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-73.
Thank you very much. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you. And turning now then to item 11J, the site plan control agreement for Winans. Councillor Dillabaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Cameron that the mover be granted to leave to introduce a bylaw that authorizes the execution of the site plan control agreement with 5010792 Ontario Inc. And this shall constitute the first and second reading thereof.
Thank you very much. Those in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried unanimously. Go ahead, please.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Cameron, bylaw to authorize the execution of site plan control agreement at 5010792 Ontario Inc. Be now read the third time, finally passed, signed, sealed, numbered 2020-74.
And those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried, thank you. And I'm at number 811K, the port with ingredient storage agreement. Councillor Cameron.
Thank you. It's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Dillabaugh, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to amend bylaw 2018-14 to authorize the mayor, clerk, and port manager to execute an extension and modification agreement to the put-through and storage agreement with Untitled Canada Corporation, and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
Thank you very much. Discussion, if any? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Carried unanimously. Proceed, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Dillabaugh, that a bylaw to amend bylaw 2018-14 to authorize the mayor, clerk, and port general manager to execute an extension and modification agreement to the put-through and storage agreement with Untitled Canada Corporation be now read a third time, finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-75.
Thank you very much. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And now I'm at 11 JKL, a site plan control agreement with Cruise, CREWS. Councillor Cameron.
Yes, thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Dillabaugh, that the mover be granted leave to introduce a bylaw to authorize the execution of a site plan control agreement with Shoreline Rail Group, Inc., and this shall constitute first and second reading thereof.
And thank you very much. First and second reading. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried unanimously. Go ahead, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Dillabaugh, that a bylaw to introduce the execution of a site plan control agreement with Shoreline Rail Group, Inc. be now read a third time, finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-76.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And that concludes the reading of the bylaws. And I'm going to go now then to item number 12 on the agenda, which is the CAO's administrative update. And I think what I'm going to do, I'll have the motion put on the floor, then we'll have the CAO highlight his report, and then we'll have questions. So I think that the motion is coming on the floor from Councillor Dillabaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Cameron. The Municipality Council receives the CEO's administration report as presented.
Thank you very much. So I'm just going to hold the motion and turn to the CAO and ask him if he'd like to highlight his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll just briefly highlight and then take any questions that council may have. So with respect to the digital service squad, just 25 businesses in the South Grenville area have applied under that program, and thus far 5 have been approved. I believe it's right now 4 from Prescott and 1 from Edwardsburg Cardinal. Under bylaw, just now that over the weekend we had a little bit of snowfall, so it's timely that we've begun circulating the public educational material throughout the community regarding winter parking restrictions. Under Treasury, 2020 interim audit, the auditors are scheduled to be in the week of December 14th. With respect to the animal licensing module, installation of the module has been complete, and staff are working, inputting all the data that we currently have on file. Facilities and recreation, just to highlight the foot care clinic that's happening at the Ingredient Center on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of the month from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And this is supported by the Senior Support Services. Operations, Public Works, new plow and assembly, it should be ready by the end of November. Both graders were repaired. I believe that the issues were related to hydraulic lines. And most of the staff over the last couple of weeks have received their first aid CPR update for Recreation, Public Works, Environmental Services, and admin staff. Under operations for environmental services, a note that the ministry has been in and completed their physical inspection of the Cardinal Water Treatment Plant and are in the process of reviewing documentation. Under page 3, municipal drains, that area, Johnstown Drainage Project, Greer Galloway is scheduled to attend the Admin and Finance meeting on December 7th to provide committee with an overview of the Johnstown Drainage Project final draft. Yes, with respect to emergency management, the MECG and MEPC met on November 10th, and we have a final EMPC meeting scheduled for December 7th. And staff are in the process of completing our 2020 annual compliance report. Also of note under emergency management is the GLAM committee, which is Great Lakes St. Lawrence River Adaptive Management, has reached out to all the shoreline municipalities to learn more about flooding and erosion impacts from 2017 and 2019. There's a virtual workshop on December 8th and a questionnaire that will be due back to them by December 18th.
Now, questions? And Councillor Cameron.
Yes, just a question regarding the foot care clinic at the Ingredient Center. Is this a new service at the Ingredient Center?
Through the chair, I believe this is a new.
Okay, and is this the one that is put on by the, I see you see senior support, but is that CPHC?
I do believe you are correct in that.
Thank you. That's fine, and I believe that's all. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Councillor Dillabaugh.
Mr. Mayor, on the workshop on December 8th, do we have a time on that, Mr. CAO?
I do have the date, but I do not have the time with me.
Would it be in the daytime or evening?
I believe it is during the daytime.
Can you attend?
No, I can't. I'd like to.
Yeah.
I might see, well, if you give me a time, please, thank you.
And the GLAM committee is reaching out and they've spoken to me. I just can't make myself available. There's something else happening prior to this one as well. They're really looking for participants, but a lot of what they're doing is in the form of virtual workshops and presentations rather than soliciting feedback. On this particular one, they're looking for actual feedback, so if you could attend, that would be great.
Thank you.
I think I'll try and attend as well, Mr. Mayor.
Can work that out with the CAO. Any further questions of the CAO? Deputy Mayor?
Going back to GLAM again for 1 sec. The approach is only for municipalities, no resident input at this time?
Through the chair, we were contacted by GLAM earlier, and we actually did send out correspondence to those, I believe, impacted by the flooding in 2017, 2019, indicating that they could go online and provide feedback.
I think if you had anybody that was interested in participating, that could be worked out with the CAO. My understanding from talking to the secretary of the Lake Ontario St. Lawrence River Board is that they're reaching out as far and wide as they can and they're looking for feedback. So
Yeah, so having said that, will we be providing any, anything that's shareable on the website or on any of our media accounts so that we can get it into residents' hands?
So through the chair, with respect to the December 8th, I think it's more geared towards municipalities and not individuals. But I do believe that already on our website, we do have the link to providing feedback and impacts to the GLAM committee for individuals.
Okay. I had a couple questions on that recently. And the other one is relating back, if I can go.
Yeah, sure.
Back to public skating. Numbers are limited at 40. Have we had any issues at all? Do we know how public skating's going? I haven't been yet this year myself, so.
So through the chair, I have not heard any circumstances where we've reached max, so to speak. So, but I do believe that there's a reasonable number attending.
Good. That's it for me.
Councillor Hunter.
We're supposed to be rehabbing our boat launch 24 and 26 to get ready for the SWADs with their weather here. Are they still on track to be able to do that, or?
So through the chair, I have not heard otherwise, so my assumption is that is still on track.
And further with our equipment purchases that I see on here, both our trucks and our emergency service vans supposed to be here, how are they on track? Like, it's pretty near the end of November now. I didn't see any new trucks sitting down there yet, and I haven't seen our chief jumping up and down telling us that he's got a new truck there yet, so.
So through the chair, I believe the chief had a trip down to the Montreal area Thursday and had brought down some of the specific pieces of equipment to just confirm proper fitting, and I believe that within the next 2 weeks, anticipate delivery.
Good.
And with respect to the public works vehicles, I do believe that they're on track for the next 2 weeks.
They're overall, they're a little behind, but the tandem should be in either Friday or early next week, and the number 11 they're expecting hopefully within 2 weeks, a week from Friday.
Our other trucks are repaired and back on fleet.
As far as I know, yeah. They just had some tire issues or something that were just done, I think, this week.
Any other questions for the CAO? Hearing none. So I'm going to call the question on receiving the CAO's admin report as presented. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried, and I just draw your attention to the fact that finally, CAO is going to get a few days off. He's going off tomorrow, but unfortunately on his first day off, I've asked him to attend a meeting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it kind of spoils his 4 days off.
Great day off, no wonder you started packing.
I really don't think he should count it as a day off. I'll leave that up to him.
You're
Turn the
entitled
heater
to
up
be a
and wear
little
shorts.
crusty.
All right, I'm at item number 13, which is council inquiries or notices of motion. Anybody have anything?
And I'm not sure that this is correct, but it's just an inquiry, and it's not to do with the council agenda tonight, but at the port meeting, and we all got this email today as a final draft notice, and it hit me quickly that the only people that can apply for the port funding are groups that are registered as nonprofits, the way that I read it. So no individuals could go together and put, another dog park, or any, pick an example, I don't know. And going through the final report, it kind of hit me that wasn't available if the port was going to be possibly doing the management of it. The projects, it seems like we're stagnating the possibility of some of the people who could possibly apply for port grant dollars and limiting it to very few organizations. And I'm not sure that that was the general intent of it. And just so reading that, I was concerned, and I just wanted to bring it up and see how others felt.
Okay, so it's a port management committee issue?
Yeah.
So I think I should phone Robert and get it on the agenda for the next meeting.
And the only reason that I brought it up tonight was respecting that the next port meeting, we would you know, hopefully pass that final draft, and I don't want to delay the January 1st funding if there's anybody else that happened to agree to it. That's the only reason that I just brought it up. I just thought it was slightly a little bit concerning. If nobody else feels that way, then I don't need to bring it up at all.
Well, the big thing is that we can't really, as a public entity,
Business, yeah.
cash flow cash to a non-incorporated or non-organized group. That's the problem that we have. Even our basic little program that we call our community grants program goes to
Right.
established groups.
Right, so, which again becomes the port discussion, but and understanding that if I brought it to the CCAC, or if I brought it to the SBCC, or CIRA for that matter,
They could apply.
they could, but it could conflict with an application that they already have on there, and in the guidelines it states that there's really only one application to be looked at. So then you'd have CIRA deciding whose application moved forward, or a CCAC, or somebody else on their behalf. Anyways, I just thoughts.
Okay,
Just to comment on it, I think it's something that we could look at in the future, but I think until the time comes that we actually haven't got enough groups that are qualified under those things applying for it, we haven't got a problem putting money out there for projects until such time as, if we don't have nonprofit groups, registered ones come with enough projects for us, then we might have to look at figuring out ways that we could sold the money to them through, as you said,
Oh.
to affiliate with a nonprofit registered group, that's already registered to put an
Well,
application for it.
yeah, the other thing, of course, is that if any group, any place had a concept that they wanted to put forward, they could ask that the port be the manager of the project. They could ask that.
So I guess to end it for me, then just ask Robert to put it on as a discussion item then?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so any other council inquiries or notices of motion here? I have a couple of things. And so first of all, we received the Spencerville Wall Water reports tonight. And one of the recommendations that came out of those reports, and I think it was the ministry technical report, was the reaffirmation of I think it was a recommendation that was embedded in the Thompson report from the 80s or the 90s, that wells should be drilled into the second aquifer. And we have no mechanism to do that at this point in time. And I would like to see that concept of us finding a mechanism to address that recommendation. I would like to see that put on the agenda for the Admin Finance Committee meeting in December. And if the staff could somehow provide us with some guidance at that meeting as to how we might go about actioning that recommendation. I think it would avoid problems in the future if it was well known that any future wells in Spencerville are drilled into the second aquifer, not the first. And might be a little bit more expense for the guy that's drilling the well, but I think it would avoid the kind of problems that we saw tonight. And what we've been experienced since August. Not to say that there's any relationship between the problems that we've had and the wells that are in the first aquifer. I don't think that there is, but just gets one more bone of contention out of the way if there's a way of doing it. So that's the first thing. Now the second thing, and I can call this serving notices of motion. way back in September or August, I introduced council to Stephen White, who was an insurance consultant, and council had an opportunity to interview him and to determine the types of services that he was prepared to offer in assistance to staff who will soon begin the project of renewing our insurance coverages. We've already heard from staff that it is a hard market, or at least we're being told that. I don't know whether it is or not, because I haven't heard that from a reliable industry individual, but I will be bringing forward a notice of motion to solidify or at least engage in an agreement with Stephen White, and I'll be bringing that to him in Finance Committee meeting. Are there any other council inquiries or notices of motion? Hearing none, I'm about to move on to item number 14. Go ahead.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, with your first item with respect to the wells in the deeper aquifer, is it possible to move that into January? It may be reasonably tight to try to get something together solid for December 7th.
Okay, and I don't have a problem with that, provided that we at least notify. We have basically 2 well drillers that are active in our area. One is Splash, and I don't know the name of the other one. If we would at least notify them that we're moving in that direction, or that we may move in that direction. The last thing that I want to see happen, as I said to Andrew tonight, and we know that we have at least 2 new wells that are about to be drilled here in the next 3 to 4 months. At least 2 that I know of, and that's the 2 that are going to have to go on South Street. The worst thing that can possibly happen is that an individual brings a well driller in and drills till he gets water, let's say at 70 feet. And he gets the well all capped and tested and everything is fine. And then we put this into effect and make him bring the well driller back and go down another 100 feet. I don't know that that's the way we want to do business. Let's notify people ahead of time so that they at least, and I'm not 100% convinced that it's necessary to go to that aquifer, and I'd like some more information about that. So I have no problem delaying that to January, Mr. CAO, but I'd like to at least be a little bit proactive about it.
Fair enough.
Okay? Any further? Okay, I don't want to get into a discussion on it. So item number 14 is the mayor's report. I'm going there now. I just have a couple of things. First of all, with regard to the RBC building here in Spencerville. So the new owner tells me that the deal to purchase the building will close on Thursday. He sees no impediment to closing from his side of things, and it doesn't look like RBC will back out of the deal, so I think that deal will close. Now, with regard to the ATM machine, the ATM machine was taken out of the building on November the 12th. The building was rehabbed, and he still does not have an agreement with RBC for a new ATM. That negotiation between him and RBC is ongoing right now, but as of this point in time, he does not have a lease agreement for a new ATM. Roma delegations. The deadline for asking for Roma delegations is November the 30th, approaching quite quickly, and I would like to register a delegation to meet with the Minister of Energy, the Honorable Greg Rickford, concerning the natural gas extension and expansion project. Our project, we called it County Road 2 and Spencerville. And we know that that project got forwarded from Enbridge to the Ontario Energy Board. The Ontario Energy Board was to review the projects and submit them up to the Minister's office by the end of October. I can't get that confirmed, that our project was one of the ones that went over to the minister's office, but I think that's something that we want to follow up at the Roma conference in January, so I'll ask the clerk and/or the CAO to make sure we get that delegation. The Roma conference will be a virtual conference. You can only attend even the virtual delegation if you're registered. We could probably cheat in this room, but I wouldn't suggest that, of course. Now, the last thing I want to bring to the attention of staff and council. So county is now starting their 2021 budget process. A series of meetings has been set up. We had interviews today, the second day, for a new Public Works Director of Public Works. However, the roads project for 2021 will be well advanced before that new director gets into place, working on the preparatory work that was set in motion by the previous Director of Public Works. There are a lot of things there are a lot of processes that county does that would be in our best interest to piggyback on. And I'm thinking of things like line spraying, weed spraying, etc. So just to bring to the attention of council that county is more than willing to add our requirements to their requirements when they tender it, but they gotta know well in advance. So just bring that up. And then the last thing concerns the delegation that we had with the ATV club. And my question to the staff is, are we going to do anything about regulating the ATVs, motorcycles, Argos, etc. on our road shoulders? Because we didn't really come to a discussion about that. And are we going to have that discussion at Admin Finance or Public Works, and what agenda is it going to go on? To the clerk, please.
Through the chair, it really depends on whether or not the legislation of the province, when that passes. It's really hard for us as staff to prepare a potential bylaw without that actually being in effect.
I'm told that it is in effect.
Not all of it. Only half of it is in effect. The other half is proposed to come into effect in January, the last time we were informed. So we're hoping that our January Public Works will have something firm for you.
Okay, all right.
And
All right, so that's the mayor's report. Is there a motion to accept the mayor's report, Deputy?
That would be me. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor John Hunter, that the municipal council receives the mayor's report as presented.
Thank you very much. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And so now, I think I'm looking for the confirmatory bylaw. Oh, we have no question period, because there's nobody here to ask any. We have no closed session. And so now I'm looking for the confirmatory bylaw. Councillor Cameron.
Thank you. It is moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Dillabaugh that a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution be now passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 2020-77.
Thank you very much. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. And the motion to adjourn, please. And that is Councillor Dillabaugh.
Sorry.
I caught you napping.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Cameron, the municipality council does now adjourn at 8:01.
He was already adjourned.
Trying to sneak out early.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried.